It's been no secret in the EV industry that the CCS Type 1 charging inlet used by North American automakers has been a bit pants. Although some, including myself, would argue that the issues have been not with a physical connector, but rather the reliability and the standard interpretation that's gone on between automakers and charging providers. But last year, pretty much everyone in the North American auto industry announced they were ready for a change. They were going to dump the CCS Type 1 charging standards and move pretty much en masse towards NACS. That's the North American Charging Standard, or if you prefer, the Tesla Supercharger connector. And so we've seen in the last couple of months automakers make preparations to move to NACS for their next generation vehicles. To date, not a single automaker has launched an EV in the North American market with a NACS charging inlet as standard. That is, of course, other than Tesla, which has used that charging port all the time. Instead, automakers are relying on NACS to CCS Type 1 adapters. They're still making their EVs with CCS Type 1 charging inlets, which allows customers to use the existing charging infrastructure, and then allowing customers to use NACS to CCS Type 1 adapters to facilitate charging at Tesla superchargers. As of the time of filming this, there are currently only 2 brands of EV that we are aware of that have access to Tesla's supercharger network that aren't Teslas within North America. That is Ford, like my Ford F-150 Lightning behind me, and Rivian. That will expand in the coming months to include other automakers like GM, and they're all working on their own special charging adapters in collaboration with Tesla. That has taken longer than everyone initially thought, and some of that delay might be because of some personnel swappage that's happened at Tesla of late. That's a separate video. But today I've got my hands on not 1, but 2 NACS adapters that I'm going to test out here on the channel. We've already made a video about using a NACS to CCS Type 1 adapter, but today we got something through the mail, so it's time for an unboxing. Here is Ford's official NACS to CCS Type 1 adapter, and here is its closest competitor, the A2Z Typhoon. It's a NACS to CCS Type 1 adapter. Let's unbox them, have a look at how they're different, and then we'll actually charge this truck at a Tesla Supercharger to give you an idea of the process. Let's start our comparison video with Ford's official NACS adapter. This has been built through a collaboration between Ford and Tesla. And if you have a Ford EV that was built over the last few years, that's a Ford Mustang Mach-E, a Ford E-Transit, or a Ford F-150 Lightning, and you are in North America, you are eligible to get one of these free of charge. Ford has a special section on its website that allows you to register using your car's VIN number, and then Ford will send you one of these completely free of charge. You do, however, need to register to get one before the end of June, I believe, as after that point, you're going to have to pay $230 to get one. Many of you will already have registered, and Ford and Tesla have been slower shipping these out than originally planned. So if you've registered and you haven't received yours yet, don't panic. As long as you've registered before the 30th of June, you won't have to pay anything for yours. I apologize for Charlie in the background there. He's my rooster for those who don't know, but let's have a look inside. So you open up the box, it is fully recycled cardboard, and in the top there you get a message from Ford CEO Jim Farley. I'm not going to read it to you because you don't want me to read that to you. And then you get this lovely little booklet that explains in detail how to go about plugging and unplugging your Ford EV to the Tesla Supercharger network. It also carries a warning, making sure that you don't try and use this adapter at a V2 supercharger, because this only works at V3 and V4 superchargers. It's nicely wrapped up, and it's even got a special Ford sticker, but As you can see, it is possible to pull it out without removing the sticker. This, as I noted earlier, has been designed between Ford and Tesla, and I believe Tesla manufactured it, so it's incredibly nicely made. The latch mechanism on this is very nice and smooth, and it's got a very positive reinforcement. The other thing to note here is that it has a nice large release button which you use to disconnect the Tesla charge cable from the adapter, or rather the NACS adapter from the NACS station. On the other end, you have this connector that allows you to connect to your EV. It's not too heavy, and it's got this lovely kind of matte finish to the majority of the design, and this is a little bit more glossy, but it has a pretty nice solid feel. It's nice and weighty, and I like the fact that this is a very simple design. It's not going to roll around in your vehicle, and it's just going to sit there in your glove box or maybe in your center console. I'm going to put it back, and then I will get out the A2Z adapter. Full disclaimer, this is the A2Z adapter, and we have been testing out some previous generations of the A2Z adapter. This particular version is the one that is now being produced. It has a retail price of around $197 at the time of filming. And we have tested a couple of pre-production ones, but this is the production version. Inside you get a nice book. The Typhoon plug is what it's officially called. And it gives you, again, a lovely instruction booklet telling you how to use it with a NACS Tesla Supercharger station. I like the fact that you get a specially made custom case for this with a nice foam insert. It's designed to keep it in a very nice and tidy manner. As you'll note from the video you're probably seeing right now, we have used one of these before. The one in the previous video we used was actually a pre-production, which is why we didn't talk about it a whole lot, but this is a production sample. Again, it's got a nice simple catch mechanism on the top. The spring is more resistive than the one on the official Ford Tesla one. I'll give you an example here. If you look at the two side by side, you'll see that the Ford Tesla adapter has a lot more movement in it to make sure that this fully disconnects from the vehicle. To lock the NACS charging station onto the adapter, this Typhoon plug has a sliding lock that is only possible to activate when you've actually connected it to the charging station, whereas the Ford station automatically locks. There is a little tang in the bottom of the NACS inlet that you can see just there by my finger. That locks in place and it's sprung. So you have to release it by pushing down on this connector. For the Typhoon plug, it's a sliding lock mechanism and it activates the little locking tang in there. This is physically slightly smaller. They are about the same weight. Of course, there's not a lot of electronics inside these because this is a mechanical connector rather than an adapter that has technology inside to bridge protocols. It's important to remember because if you have a Nissan Leaf, for example, with a CHAdeMO connector on it, you have to have a special adapter that converts from the language that the CHAdeMO protocol speaks to one that is compatible with either CCS or NACS. You've also got all of the warning labels that are required printed on both units. Here you can see them here, and on the Ford unit, I believe it prints it here on the underside with a QR code to ensure that you can follow and read up all of the required legalese that you need. So we've arrived at one of our local Tesla Supercharger sites here in Scappoose, Oregon. It's actually a small Tesla Supercharger site with 4 stalls. There's also 2 charge point charging stations just the other side of the truck. And amusingly, a Tesla Model 3 has just pulled up and is plugged in to the charge point station. So maybe they know something we don't, maybe it's cheaper, I don't know, but we're here to test the adapter. Now, an important thing about this is that you have to plug the charging station in before you plug it into your car. If you plug this in and then try and plug the Tesla adapter in, it won't go into the Ford adapter. While I'm grabbing the cable, let's tell you about the 3 ways that you can activate it using your Ford vehicle. The first one is to have plug and charge active, which is what we're going to do. So you just plug this in until it clicks, and then you plug this into your vehicle. You'll hear a whir as the connector is locked to the vehicle. Then you'll see a bit of communication here, and eventually it will start charging. Now, because it's bright, you probably can't see, but there is a blue light that is starting to flash on the inlet here to let me know that charging is beginning. If you have plug and charge active on your Ford vehicle, that is literally all you need to do. If you don't have plug and charge active, or you don't want to have it active, there are 2 other choices using your Ford vehicle, or rather the apps that come with your vehicle. You can hear the charging station there whirring into life, meaning that we are now charging. The first one is to use the Ford Pass smartphone app. If you pull up the charging station on your Ford Pass app, it will show you a little button that allows you to manually activate the charging session. If for some reason this doesn't work, or you're driving a vehicle that doesn't have plug and charge enabled, that is a way you can activate your charging session there. The other way of doing it is using the vehicle's built-in touchscreen display. It has an app through the latest over-the-air update that allows you to activate charging and set charging as a destination. If you have certain versions of Ford EVs, so if you have one of the newest Ford Mustang Mach-E's, for example, your vehicle has preconditioning. So if you tell it that you're heading to a Tesla Supercharger, it will automatically start the battery preconditioning, which will heat up the battery pack to enable you to charge more quickly and spend less time at the Tesla Supercharger, just like you would with any other fast charging station. This is a 2023 F-150 Lightning, so it doesn't have that feature yet. I understand it is coming via an over-the-air software update at some point in the future. This truck doesn't have that yet. It also doesn't have the charging app that some F-150 Lightnings have. We've charged to about 52% using the Ford NACS adapter. We're going to switch it over for the A2Z EV adapter, the Typhoon adapter. So let's switch these out and I'll discuss how you disconnect from the charging station, and then we'll put this one on. So the first thing you need to do is you need to press your unlock button. Every modern Ford EV has one of those. You press it once, you'll hear the connector unlock from the vehicle. Then you need to press this button here at the top and pull, and your adapter will come out. I've removed the connector from the truck. It's still connected to the charging station, and it's warm to the touch, but it's also been in direct sunlight and it's painted black. So this is no warmer as a connector than the Tesla cable, which is a good thing. Now, at the moment, you'll notice this won't come undone. That's because you need to pull down on the little locking tab at the bottom and then gently separate the plug from the adapter. If you have grip issues, you have hand strength issues, maybe you have arthritis like I do in my thumb, it is kind of hard work to push the adapter down, and you may find it a little bit cumbersome to deal with. That said, I think at the moment this is the best option we have if you want to have NACS compatible charging experiences, at least until NACS inlets are fitted as standard. I'm going to put the Ford adapter down on the ground. Now let's test the A2Z adapter, the Typhoon A2Z adapter. Now, Ford's system had an integrated lock. That's not what you get with the A2Z adapter. You have that little sliding button on the bottom, and it can be a little bit difficult to get it to push home. So you have to push quite firmly until you hear a click, and then you're going to slide the sliding connector towards the Tesla inlet. So if you slide it that way, now this won't come undone. This is important because you do not want this adapter to disconnect from the charging station while it is charging. That is a safety risk, and actually not A to Z, but the Electron adapters were actually recalled because their locking mechanism didn't work properly. However, as long as you lock it on properly, you shouldn't have an issue. Let's plug it in. Because it has plug and charge, it should start exactly the same as it previously did. I'm just going to put my hand over the charge indicator so we can check. In a few seconds, we should hear some clicks and then it will start charging. Already heard the whir, and there it goes. All right, so we've finished with the A to Z adapter. We've got about 70% in the truck, so let's call that good. I know it's not a full charging session, but for the purposes of testing out these, I have used them off camera for a while, so I'm pretty familiar with how they perform. To remove the Typhoon connector from the Tesla Supercharger, you have to slide the little sliding mechanism on the underside, and then you can get your hand around it and pull the two apart. At the end of the day then, we successfully charged with Ford's NACS adapter, and we also successfully charged with the A2Z Typhoon adapter. I've been using the Typhoon adapter on and off now for several months in various pre-production guises, and it's been very reliable. I've not been using the Ford adapter for as long, but it's a robust piece of kit, and I think either of these would make a very valuable addition to your EV charging arsenal, especially if you have a vehicle that has access to the Tesla Supercharger network. And we know that other brands are going to be gaining access very soon. I think it's fair to say that Tesla's design brings a very Tesla aesthetic to the whole experience and gives you a really authentic Tesla Supercharger experience. This is designed by Tesla in collaboration with Ford. It's made by Tesla. It looks the part. It's got a nice heft to it, and it's very well made, and it's very easy to connect and disconnect the Tesla charging station. The A2Z Typhoon is slightly smaller. It's slightly easier to get your hand around it to pull the two connectors apart. I do not like this lock. I have never liked this lock. This version of the lock is, I think, the second or third version that I've seen on the adapters, and this is the production version. It's very easy to use once you get used to it, but initially it's a little bit finicky. The thing that I do want to mention though is that while both of these adapters give you access to Tesla's Supercharger network, if you have a car that Tesla has green lit for the Supercharger network, and bear in mind you can't just turn up with one of these and a CCS compatible car and expect it to work, because it won't. Tesla has to flip a switch before particular makes and models can be allowed to charge. I will say that this is a costly experience. The first charging session we did with this adapter, we put 33 kilowatt hours in the battery pack, and it cost us $17, over $17 to put 33 kilowatt hours in the pack. That is the most expensive charging session I have had at a public charger in a really long time. The other thing to bear in mind is if you are a Ford customer and you have that 250 kilowatt hours of complimentary fast charging access that was given to you when you purchased your vehicle, it does not include Tesla Superchargers. Right now, that 250 kilowatt hour access is Tesla excluded. So if you use a Tesla Supercharger and you have a balance, you're still going to have to pay cold hard cash for the experience. And look, there's still the placement issue. When you park at a Tesla Supercharger, you still have to take up 2 stalls for now until longer cables come. So it very much is a your mileage may vary experience. That said, I think you should have at least one of these in your vehicle to aid in your charging experiences on the road, because we all know that CCS Type 1 can be very unreliable, and we all know that you're not always just down the road from a choice of fast charging stations. And if the alternative to being towed or facing a long, slow charging session is to have one of these and to just pay a little extra to use a Tesla Supercharger, I think most people would choose the latter. Thanks to Ford for expediting this out to us. We were promised one a long time ago and for some reason it didn't arrive, and we were at an event recently with Ford and they were like, have you got it yet? And we said no. So they rushed one out so we could test it and bring you this video. And thanks to A2Z for letting us test and play with the Typhoon, both in this version, which is its production form, and also its pre-production, which we had a little sneaky peek look at as well. Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of more than 1,500 people who help fund this channel through Patreon and YouTube. They help cover our bills, pay our team, and make sure that we can be 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, just over $10 a year. A huge welcome to our newest supporters, Mac McIntosh, Kyle Randall, Bryant E. Day, Shedrick Mask, and Robin Mayorga. To join the list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at, address linked below. And if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store in the down below. This month, we're getting ready to celebrate Pride with an amazing t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator Erin. Get yours today when it drops in early June by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you've subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we think that this one is also well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving.